Mike McHugh, along with Richard Clark, the news director for the Carteret News-Times. We're glad you're joining us this morning. It's Friday, the last day of July.
Last day
of July.
Wow.
And boy, we have August to look forward to. And a hurricane is coming our way.
Isaias.
Hurricane Isaias is a Cat 1 hurricane right now, and the projected path is expected to take it directly over Morehead City. That, according to Les Still from WCTI 12's Weather Center this morning. He told us that on Coastal Daybreak. Look for the fun to start sometime Monday, probably later in the day, midday.
Yeah.
But you should start seeing the effects or feeling the effects sometime Sunday night.
And it could get to a Category 2.
And Les said that it could strengthen perhaps to a Cat 2, a weak Cat 2, a strong Cat 1, because there's really nothing in its way, which is a good thing. It has an exit strategy out of here, moving at a rather quick pace at 15 miles per hour.
Which is also a good thing.
Which is good, not like Florence that stayed around for a couple days and had the speed of a turtle. And there's no shear expected to lessen the intensity of the Cat 1 storm as it is right now. Right now it's going to stay off the coast of Florida and trek on up to our neck of the woods. Aren't we lucky for that? As if we need that.
I knew it.
After the broadcast today at 10 o'clock, we encourage you to go out to the grocery stores and buy, in this order, beer, bread, and water, because you already have toilet paper to last you by for 5 years.
Yeah.
So you won't need that. And maybe
we're actually getting low on toilet paper now. Finally,
I'll tell you what. Listen. You know what? We always do this on Carteret COnnects. We swerve. We dovetail and we swerve and we get off topic. I was talking to a long haul trucker the other day who lives in Jacksonville and drives trucks across the country, and he said their talk among the truckers out there is a second shortage coming up in the fall and winter of the same commodities that were run out before. Fresh meats in the grocery store and toilet paper and paper products.
Well, the meat I can see because we've definitely had some. I see that
and this
now.
is all because of COVID not being controlled and all the political and all the other unrest. Watch for us. He's just saying you may want to stock up. So let's fan the fires here.
Yeah, let's
okay?
make it worse.
What the hell, you know? So no, I just bought a 12 pack, I think 12 pack that yields like 24 pack or rolls of Scott tissue. I like Scott. They make a nice roll of toilet paper. We talked about that on Coastal Daybreak.
Yeah,
this
I never was.
It's a nice tight roll versus these fluffy.
My girlfriend spends more time on that than I do with that decision making process. What toilet paper to get.
Yeah.
She burns through it. Like I don't know if she's taking it out back and lighting it on fire, but woof.
No, I don't think Gwen would do that. She's tight. Good TP.
She goes through it pretty quick.
You know, the problem is, where do you store the stuff? You know.
Well, we have no storage space. We live in an apartment.
I'm going to put it in a spare bedroom. Hey, there's another 48 rolls of toilet paper. When 2 adults live in the house, that would last us probably till next year. You know.
till you pass.
Yeah, I have to put that in my will and testament, and to my the whole family sitting around the table. God, I hope I get the house. I hope I get the house. And now, Tim McHugh. Got 40 rolls of Scott tissue. It's a good roll. Your uncle loves Scott tissue, and they're yours now. A little yellow, but at least they're not brown. Oh, so anyway.
Yeah.
So stock up. I'm sure the grocery stores will be crazy once people get wind of this hurricane, and it is an official hurricane now coming up the coast.
Probably by Sunday.
Sunday they'll freak out. So who has Progress Energy? Who has Jones Onslow? Who has Carteret Craven?
Duke is over there.
Duke is here in Carteret County. You're mostly Carteret Craven.
Yeah, Carteret Craven.
And then we have Jones over in Onslow and Jones County, and Duke Energy.
I think they do a pretty good job here with the power and those sorts.
The utility companies do a great job. The EMCs do a great job. It's amazing. It's our friends at Duke Energy sometimes take a little while to get back up. If the storms, it might be different. You live in Jacksonville, so you may be a little bit more inland. You might start hearing those, the wind velocities maybe a little bit less, perhaps the banding, but you know how hurricanes are. You got to watch out for tornadoes.
Yeah, I've learned. I've been through 3 heavy duty ones now, so I know what to expect at this point.
I don't hear anybody talking about it.
And I've had to drive in them.
This is not an evacuation hurricane. This is just button down the hatches, let it pass. The six or so hours that it's in front of us and then along the top of us and then
it's
behind us.
It's flooding around here.
It's the damn trees is what it is, and the power.
Yeah.
You did you get your fan yet?
Oh no, not yet. But I didn't expect it this quick. But yeah, so I guess I'm out. I'm
it's batteries too.
Yeah.
You have to see my batteries work.
I can't do it. I can't do it again. We were
losing power and not having air conditioning.
We were 15 days with Floyd in Greenville. We were a week or so with Matthew.
Yeah, and then you had Florence.
And then Florence was, man, I can't do it. I'm soft now. What can I say?
I don't blame you. I mean,
it's just so hot.
Now,
number one, I don't sleep in the heat very well.
This room is cool, isn't it?
Yes, but I would want it cooler.
Okay.
If I was trying to sleep.
This is like a refrigerator compared to my house.
Right. Oh my goodness. You're like my dad.
Really?
Look, I look at it like this. If I'm sitting there and my neck fat is sweating, it's too hot.
It's hot.
Yeah, I need it cooler. Plus, I just like it cool. I run hot, so I need it cooler. I keep telling Gwen, my girlfriend, we need to move north, like Montana north.
Yeah. Idaho.
Yeah.
But you know what? Then you got to pay for those winters.
Well, it's funny because I never thought I would like it. But you remember a couple years ago when we had that really bad cold stretch? It was like -8 for like 2 weeks. I loved it. You can
always dress for cold weather.
Yes. You can't. I'm too fat just to take stuff off.
No, what I like about that, I remember that specifically because it killed one of my cocoa palms in the yard. But I can take Casey for a 5 or 6 mile walk. Yeah. And we're both comfortable.
Right. And look, if I looked like the young kid for Twilight, I wouldn't wear a shirt ever. I'd be fine. I'd just go to work with no shirt on. Yeah. But I can't do that to the people walking around looking crazy.
Unless you're tan. You can get away with it then.
Yeah, no.
Fat guys on the beach that are tan can get away with that.
Yeah.
I got the.
They think they can get away with it.
This Irish blood, so this burns. But
that's all you got right there.
This is all I get.
I've been outside for about 2 hours total.
Yeah. No. I haven't been. You know what? I had not been to. The beach I go to is Emerald Isle, West Access, and I haven't been to the beach at all this year.
I sit outside about 30 minutes every other weekend.
I get out. I mean, I'm outside. I sit outside, but I just haven't ventured over to the beach because I would go over there to pick up cans.
Yeah,
and I'm just not doing it this year. So
I just don't like the heat anymore. The humidity. I used to love it. I lived in South Florida.
You know what? Just think how fast. Look how fast July. I'm pointing to the calendar. Look how fast July moved. Right. So 31 days in July. You got 31 days in August, and then when you get into September, the fronts, they start to come through, and then about mid-September, you start getting a little less humidity.
Yeah, I need to change.
But my point is that it's going to go fast.
You think?
Sure.
We haven't had a real winter in at least 2 years, though.
Well, since that time you talked
about.
Right. Yeah.
It's been fairly mild, so maybe we're due.
But, how it is when we have typically our festivals, in the before time, we had the Mullet Festival in the second week of October, Mumfest. Seafood in the first week of October. That's the beautiful weather. That's what you live for. That's what you got to look forward to.
Really?
And just get through this. The thing is though, look at this gift that you've been given for now in August. You got NBA basketball.
I'm loving it.
That'll take you inside.
I'm loving it.
To your air conditioned ice cube.
I was like a little kid when you were so young, they made you go to bed at 9:30, but on the weekend you could sit up. So you watched until you couldn't see anymore.
That'd be interesting.
That was like that last night.
That was covered on TBS, right?
TNT
15. I wonder what their ratings were. I bet they were huge, especially the first.
They
game.
did an excellent job.
Well, I say especially the first game, but the second game was Los Angeles, so
it was the Lakers and the Clippers.
Yeah, so you can't. It's a big market.
Yeah.
The second biggest market.
They made no mistake. They were on it. They put their Zion, LeBron, and Leonard. They're three of the four most marketable guys right up top. I mean, NBA's got some good leadership.
I still when I see Brandon Ingram, who's from Kinston native, I can't believe that
he played well last night.
Yeah, I mean, to see him. Well, my point is how many players, basketball players, Kinston has nurtured. We saw him play at the Jacksonville Commons as a high school senior
in that summer league.
It was a Christmas tournament. And to see him now, it's just wow. I mean,
mathematically,
he's
Kinston
the real
with
deal.
all them basketball players is really the only comparison I can make is the Dominican Republic with baseball players. Because it is truly like lottery style numbers,
and probably some little town in Latvia for hockey,
right?
That
we don't know, or Canada,
or Norway.
Yeah,
that Norway.
Because it's truly insane. They've had like 10. Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous for a town of 25,000 people.
But I was watching it. Actually, my wife was watching a little bit of it, and she was, she doesn't know the players, and I said, well, that's Zion Williamson. I said He went to Duke. Brandon went to Duke. I said they went for 1 year and they went in.
Actually, they got 4 guys that went to Duke on the roster.
Yeah,
J.J. Redick. Yeah, he's from Virginia. Frank Jackson, he was a guard for a year or two.
Yeah. But I said the good thing about, she said, well, I hope they do well. I said, well, they're the real deal. And I said, I think the good thing about Zion and Brandon is that their heads screwed on tight and they have good family structure.
It seemed to. I don't know if people know, but Brandon's uncle is actually the sheriff in Lenore
County.
Good family. He seems to have it together. He's actually set to make a ton of money. His contract's up. Yeah,
I bet.
And he's playing well right now, so he's right at the cusp. Zion's parents are both teachers, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So he seems to be,
and he's just a rookie, but they're bringing him along. They're going to really measure his time, and at some point they're going to say, "Okay, enough of that."
If he stays healthy, he's going to be special.
He can play the 48 minutes.
He can do things. He caught an alley-oop last night that he shouldn't have been able to dunk, especially at 6'5", and he's going to be special.
The key there is, I think, off the court and all of that, he's got that covered. He's just got to stay healthy. And you never know. I mean,
he's got to get in shape.
You hope and pray that he has one of those 20, 30, 25-year careers, if that long.
He's got to get in pro shape. And great ones do it, and the rest of them don't. It's kind of like that, you know.
But there's so much hope that he becomes that next LeBron.
And he's got some personality, and he just is charismatic. So I figure he's probably...
Despite that, he's in New Orleans. You know, I mean, he's not.
It's actually a great place.
He's not in a good. I mean, he's not in a big media market like New York or Los Angeles.
I think it's a better place for him because of that. You don't get some of the glare that you would get in New York.
And you know, I mean, the media is traditionally New York and Los Angeles, but with the social media and all the other platforms out there. Yeah, you could be playing in Timbuktu.
New York, honestly,
you can bring it on the court. You can play it and deliver it.
I think New York is probably the only place that is different now.
Yeah, still different. Still different.
Yeah, it's just the glare in New York is too much.
Yeah, everything you're playing. Well, you could be playing in Brooklyn or you can be playing down at the Garden, but it's still the New York media, and you know there's still a strong print media there.
LA spread out,
radio,
so you can get away.
Yeah,
you live in the hills or something, you can get away. You just can't really get away in New York.
So where does he live in New Orleans, you think? I mean,
he's got a place.
Is he down? Is it in the historic area? Is he out in the Garden District?
I think he's in the Garden District.
Out by Tulane.
Yeah, I think.
It's funny. I mean, you know, New Orleans is a big town, but nonetheless, it's it's a touristy town. And
it's
you wonder where he goes. Well, right now they're all playing in Orlando, Florida, but when things get back to normal, I always think about like the Green Bay Packers. Think about Green Bay's a small little town.
Well, OKC has the same thing, same problem.
Kansas City, yeah. So think about those guys.
Yeah, like if you play for the Oklahoma City Thunder, one of the things is what do you do?
Right?
Because keep in mind, they're not 35, they're 22.
They're young. Yeah. Well, I always think like back to the football and where did Brett Favre go? Well, not in the offseason, but during the season when they were home, and he comes out.
He was so low key in the sense of driving a truck and. He probably didn't do much. It's the kids that are from a bigger area that might have an issue.
Yeah, so the kid that went to like LSU or Auburn or Alabama and is 6'7", 300 pounds, living in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yeah, and he's from
in
Atlanta.
November. He ain't gonna go ice fishing.
He's from Miami or something.
Yeah, he's not ice
What's
fishing.
What's he do all day?
Yeah,
it's got to be a transition, and New Orleans could be tough. I mean, Zion's 19. We keep forgetting that because he looks like he's a mountain.
Yeah, I know.
He's 19.
Yeah, he's 19. What were you doing when you were 19? I'll tell you.
All I know is they would have been like, New Orleans is not the place for him.
Yeah.
They would have been like, no, he can't go there.
Yeah. A 19-year-old can get distracted in Morehead City or New York City.
Can you imagine New Orleans?
Or New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Well, it'd be like hey, in Vegas. If you're out in Vegas,
football team now in Vegas. Now they got pro football and pro hockey in Vegas. It won't be long to have a basketball team there.
Sure, why not? Yeah,
I'm surprised that Major League Baseball hadn't looked at the market.
Yeah,
you got to know it's coming.
Yeah,
I think Seattle's getting a hockey team.
That makes a lot more sense than Carolina getting a hockey team.
They need to move a couple of the Florida teams out of for hockey and move them north.
The baseball hasn't done terrifically well down in Florida at the pro major league level. It's great for spring training, but it didn't translate into season.
No. Tampa Bay and Florida, which is in Miami, are both at the bottom of.
Yeah. And how many World Series have they gone? The Marlins have gone.
Marlins have gotten one.
Yeah. So they got one, but you would have thought that's a good market for baseball. Especially in Miami with the Spanish population, and you think the retired population, but it doesn't.
No,
it
doesn't translate.
It's not a venue that you want to go to.
Well, Miami is
81 times out of the season as a home game.
Miami's not a good sports town. I mean, I know people might offend some people, but it's not.
You know what it is, though? It's a better college town than it is a pro town.
It used to be.
I think, the Miami Hurricanes.
They like winners, basically.
Well, you remember that didn't ESPN do a 30 on 30 on the Miami Hurricanes?
They actually did too.
And they said that the college players were more well known at the clubs than were the Dolphins.
And the pros, yeah.
And the Dolphins that would come in there.
Well, because a lot of the college players are actually from there, from Overtown, so.
Yeah, that was their town.
Yeah, they grew up there.
But they were the money.
Look, I mean, it's like the Heat. Everybody went to the Heat games in Miami when they were winning, but not so much now. The Dolphins haven't drawn anything in a long time.
Shula.
Right. Well, maybe a little bit with Marino.
Marino. Well, say
with
since
Jimmy Johnson was there.
Since Dan.
But they haven't drawn anything. The Marlins only drew that year they went to the World Series. So it's just not a good sports town.
And it doesn't help too that in football, especially football, there's so much parity because you're good one year, your draft is at the bottom next year. So the NFL's done a good job of demonstrating the one good thing of socialism. I mean, they spread the love in the NFL, and they spread it's parity.
And one of the problems that all the sports have is they don't take into consideration really good sports town. For instance, the NBA pulled a team out of Seattle that had pretty much sold out every year, every game, and moved that team. You got these places that don't do well, and you leave the ones that do. Football has the same issue. I mean, there's really only a few good sports towns.
Boston's a great fit. Philadelphia.
Philly's a good sports town. Green Bay, Milwaukee. Whatever.
When you say Philly's a good sports town, it's a sense that it's a good sports town in the sense of the fan base because they never leave. They're generational. They stay there. Teams that they had horrible baseball.
Well, that's the point.
They had horrible baseball and basketball and football teams.
If you're still supporting and the team isn't winning, then it's a good sports town.
Yeah.
Most sports towns now are come lately type deals.
Exactly. Boston is great because the tradition.
Right. LA's not a good sports town.
Of all of their really 3 or 4 sports.
Right.
They were more strong before Brady came to the Patriots, which is Boston.
That was last.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was the
Sox.
It was the Celts. The Sox.
The Sox, the Bruins, the Celts. Except when Bird was there.
Yeah, basketball. But it was the Fenway Park.
Right.
It's Fenway Park.
I mean, the Red Sox are the deal out there.
Yeah, Ted Williams, Yastrzemski.
It's hard to say if New York's a good sports town because there's so many people. You can make a case they are, but
and they're divided.
Right.
And they're divided. I mean, they're divided with their football today.
Right.
Which the Jets really are. The Giants are Jersey, and the Jets are.
Yeah, I was asking somebody about that the other day about who roots for who in New York.
I'll tell you how, because I went to school with all these kids.
Okay.
So when you grow up in Long Island. You have Shea Stadium in Flushing, which is Queens. The Long Island kids are Met fans, and they're Islander fans.
Islanders.
Okay, so then the Jersey before the Jersey Devils came, they were Yankee fans and Ranger fans. They're downtown. Does that make sense?
So
and then football, Long Island was funny. Long Island was the Giants,
right?
And the others, the downtown was the Jets. And now
who roots for the Mets?
Long Island. Yankees, Manhattan and Bronx.
Okay.
And because Brooklyn had the Dodgers.
Right.
So they probably gravitated. The Mets were an expansion team. They came in '62.
Yeah.
So the Yankees had when the Dodgers left and the Giants left, going to California. Look what that left. Yeah. All they had left was the Yankees.
Yeah.
No wonder the Yankees are what they are.
Well, the Yankees are like the Cowboys in the sense that they were on TV, and they were on TV at a time when you were limited in what you could watch.
Yeah.
And they grew their fan base.
I'll never forget in the '70s. We got to get out of here because we got another group coming in. But we'll close with this because I know you're just riveted to hear this firsthand story.
My mom would love this.
we went over to Yankee Stadium.
Pittsburgh's a good sports town too.
It's a great sports town. Yeah, and it's the Buccos, the Pirates. Yeah, and the Steelers.
Steelers.
But going to Yankee Stadium in the Bronx in the '70s, the Bronx was burned out, empty buildings, abandoned cars on the roadway, underneath the subway, elevated, and then Yankee Stadium. Mm-hmm. It was this green oasis. It was beautiful. Yeah. But to get to it, you had to go through, Fort Apache, the Bronx.
Yeah.
Nowadays, though, it's all different.
Yeah.
There's a different Yankee Stadium, but the
Bronx
is a happening place. It's clean. It's fun to go to.
It's like getting to the Garden, but the old Garden in Boston. You had to take the train right into it. So it was different.
And that's another sports venue, Madison Square Garden. There's nothing like it.
Well, at the old Boston Garden.
In the old Boston, with the parquet floors.
They should have never. That's the one.
The garden.
We'll leave on this note.
The Madison Square Garden is ugly from the outside.
It was horrifying.
But when you get in there, it's like, wow, this is the Madison Square Garden.
It's not nice looking at all. They need to do something about that. Yeah. But we'll leave on this. The one thing, I'm not a Duke fan, but I will always give Mike Krzyzewski credit that he did not allow them to change Cameron.
No.
I just thought that was so, in this day and age of money and all that.
I have never been to Cameron.
Because the Dean Dome sucks.
I would love to. I'll tell you what's cool is that when NC State's campus, the Reynolds Coliseum.
The old one, yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's
they messed up too by going to PNC.
Beautiful. And they'll play one or two games early on.
Right.
At that arena. My nephew is an alumni, and we've gone there, and it's a museum in the front part. And then you got the small venue.
And the Dean Domes hasn't been a home court advantage for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, they still play in Carmichael one or two games.
I don't know. I don't remember that, but maybe. I don't know. Yeah,
we got to get out of here. Button up the hatches.
You guys have a good weekend. Stay safe.
Isaias. Learn how to pronounce that.